I gave an interview yesterday to Bloomberg Business, and I said, off the record, and I made a statement about Canada, which is fine, because I love Canada. But they've taken advantage of our country for many years. They say, oh, Canada, we love Canada. I do, too. I even love their national anthem. It's called, very appropriately, O Canada.
That was President Donald Trump this afternoon complaining that disparaging off-the-record comments that he made about the nation of Canada were reported this morning. Contrary to what the president said, Bloomberg did not violate its off-the-record agreement about those comments. Instead, another outlet, the Toronto Star, obtained the president's comments independently and were not bound by the same off-the-record agreement. The result of all of this is that those disparaging comments are now part of the public record, and because of that, we know that despite the president's claim that he loves Canada and its national anthem, Trump was prepared to concede absolutely nothing to Canada during the ongoing NAFTA negotiations. The president told Bloomberg that if Canada knew what his position was, it would be, quote, so insulting, they're not going to be able to make a deal. Well, those comments appear to have sullied the president's effort to renegotiate NAFTA. According to the Toronto Star, Canadian officials confronted Trump's negotiators with those comments at a meeting today, and then talks broke down. Now, Canada and the U.S. have officially missed the president's self-imposed deadline to strike a deal that would bring Canada into the preliminary agreement that Trump made with Mexico. Negotiations between the two countries will continue into next week. For more on what this means for both the United States and Canada, I turn to the reporter who broke this story, a fellow Torontonian, Daniel Dale, the Washington bureau chief at the Toronto Star. Daniel, this is a remarkable story. There was nobody who really thought the negotiations between the United States and Canada were going particularly well, but it's a real turn from the relationship that Canada and the United States have had over the long term and what it looked like might be working out between Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau at the beginning of his administration.
Yeah, they started off on very warm terms. For whatever reason, the president seemed to like the liberal, very different multilateralist, charismatic, inclusive prime minister, very different from him. But things soured, and they seemed to sour in the wake of Trump's decision to impose steel tariffs. Trudeau criticized him. Trump didn't like that, took strong exception, and has seemed to go out of his way at every available opportunity, whether it's a rally or another event, to belittle him as Justin, never using his last name, and taking pot shots at Canada's dairy policy, which is very criticizable. You know, there are issues there, but Trump has made this a personal hobby horse, seemingly out of the blue.
Daniel, I want you to put this into context for us. I want to put up a poll from the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. It was taken in late July, once we were well into this trade war with the world. The question was, is NAFTA good or bad for the economy? It was a question of Americans. Overall, 63% say good, 32% say bad. Republicans, a smaller percentage say good than bad. Democrats, a larger percentage say good than bad. And with independents, it breaks 2/3 in favor of NAFTA. Even in Canada, not everybody likes NAFTA. Not everybody thought it was a great deal. But in the end, it is kind of imperative for these two countries, which now have the second largest trade relationship after China and America. It is imperative for these two countries to figure something out. Is it going to happen?
I can't say, Ali. I mean, we don't know for sure. I think, Canada's ideal outcome might be just dragging this on as long as possible and then having Trump not terminate the existing NAFTA. Just keeping the status quo is I think, privately what Canada would want. But the risk there in not making a deal is that the longer you don't make a deal, the longer you risk this president, who we know is, impulsive, erratic, acts on impulse, terminating it, following through on his threats, which he's delivered since 2015, and saying, to heck with all this, we're not doing a free trade agreement at all. And that, I think, would be a very damaging outcome for the Canadian government.
And it's not just that. The president has said, we'll just slap tariffs on Canadian cars made in Canada coming into the United States. Again, there's a lot of context there because Canada and the United States have been exchanging cars and car parts for 70 years now, or 60 years, something like that, starting with the Auto Pact and then into the free trade agreement. It's a serious threat. It may not be economically viable for the United States, but it's serious.
It's a very serious threat. You know, we had this big uproar over the steel and aluminum tariffs. Automotive tariffs would dwarf the economic impact of that. You know, it still may not cripple the Canadian economy, but it's many times the size, and it would damage, you know, states and provinces on both sides of the border. And Trump seems to be inclined to impose tariffs. He seems to enjoy his ability to impose tariffs, you know, at his will, and he's not letting up on this threat. So Canada, in addition to wanting to safeguard this trade deal overall, it really, really wants to avoid automotive tariffs.
Daniel, good, strong reporting. Thank you for joining us tonight. Daniel Dale with the Toronto Star.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.